Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is ReapeeRon, and today I would like to kind of do a talking head video where I'm just going to be speaking my thoughts about a subject that keeps coming up in a lot of my Killing Floor 2 videos, and one that people have pointed out, and that is, do I dislike Commando? And this is kind of a multi-step question, so I'm going to be answering it the way that I can. The footage playing in the background is of me playing Commando, Hell on Earth. I think this was 4 rounds on Nuked, and it seemed to go pretty well, but the consensus seems to be that I do not like Commando and that I will bash Commando on various occasions, which is kind of true, but I don't really hate Commando. The thing that this kind of stems from is whenever I do any sort of video about really any of the classes, I always get comments that are for people that really only like to play like one specific class. And if I have anything negative to say about that class, then they usually take it personally, which is not my intentions at all. You can have whatever opinion you want about any of the classes. I don't really care. One that keeps popping up is about Commandos, and maybe that's just because Commando is the most popular class in the game, and I'm not a huge fan of Commando. I don't necessarily dislike playing it. I just find it less fun than some of the other classes, so I tend not to play it as often, even though I think it's actually one of my highest leveled classes overall. So this is mostly going to be addressing some of the things that people are kind of fanatical about Commando. Let's go over some of the strengths, though, of Commando first. And I don't want to underplay how good Commando is, because Commando can be really good. It depends on what type of situation, and they are very good at supporting the team. I think that that's probably their best role, is a support role for the team, because they can clear out small and medium things very easily. They can kind of aid in large Zed kills and sometimes kill large Zeds by themselves, but they're not going to do it as efficiently as other classes do. And their big strength is that they can extend Zed time. Another big strength is that they can spot invisible enemies. So they do have a place like in Boss Wave 2, especially against the Patriarch and against the Matriarch, and they can be specifically really good under certain conditions in Boss Wave. I'll be talking about that too. The main thing that I usually hear about people that usually main Commando or super into Commando is that Commando is the best class at everything, or the best overall class at doing everything. And I would disagree with that. I don't think that they are. I think that there's better classes that can do both specific jobs and an overall better job than Commando can. One that immediately comes to mind is somebody like Gunslinger, where Gunslinger's just stupidly strong and can deal with literally everything. So I would say Gunslinger is technically better at dealing with everything than somebody like Commando is. I would say somebody like Medic is also better than Commando at dealing with generally everything, because even though Medic's going to be slower, they're more safe, they're more likely to be able to get through it, especially if it ends up being a last man standing situation, in which case Commando is usually not one of the strongest classes. If you have a Commando left, that can be an issue, because it's going to be very difficult for them to survive the entire waves with everything. They can be still really strong in certain situations. Like I said, they are very, very strong at supporting the team, especially if you have a very good Commando that can time out their shots and pace their shots, so that they can keep extending Zed time to the maximum amount that they can. And certain classes can really benefit from this, or just certain, again, specific scenarios, like if you can extend Zed time, well, there are specific bosses like the Patriarch or Hans. If you can extend it for the maximum duration, well, Hans is laying on the ground, great, everybody can do tons of damage to him. In that case, everybody's winning, and Commando is definitely doing the biggest part of this job. There is another reason why I don't really care for Commando, and that is if you're playing on 7 waves or 10 waves, Commando can really make the match drag out far longer than it ever needs to. Even with the extending of Zed time, if you're going for 10 waves or if you're going for endless or something, you're just not being very time efficient if you want to keep playing more matches. And as somebody who enjoys streaming this game, I usually don't stream 7 or 10 matches for this exact reason, and that is because this just extends the match way longer than it needs to. If I'm playing 4 rounds, matches are usually over between 15 and 25 minutes at the longest. If I'm playing a 10-round match streaming, and we have a Commando on our team, we're usually in it for an hour, hour and a half, which even in 10 rounds, you can usually get done within a half hour to 45 minutes. So it extends the match so much longer than it needs to. And that's just kind of frustrating from a streamer's perspective if you're trying to get a lot of matches in and allow more people to hop in and play with you if the match just keeps going and going and going, which is also why I don't usually stream 7 or 10 waves. It's usually 4 waves because that seems to be the right amount to where everything is still reasonable and we can get from match to match faster. Another point that I'd like to bring up that is kind of around Commando, and I sort of wish this was better about Commando, is that Commando's weapons that are specific to them are probably the worst weapons specific to them out of any class. And what I mean by that is the weapons that you consider, that are usually considered the most meta weapons for Commando, are almost none of their weapons. They're from another class. It's something like the FAL, the M16, the either of the medic assault rifles. All of those don't belong to Commando. They're a split class. The ones that do belong to Commando, you have the AR-15, which is probably the worst weapon in the game at the moment. Bullpup, which still has issues, even though it is better than it used to be. It's still not something I'm going to take to upgrade. It's just not worth it. If I want to do that, something like the Scar is a better weapon. And speaking of the Scar is probably the best weapon that Commando has, at least overall. The AK is pretty much outscaled by other weapons near it because it just doesn't scale very well with upgrades. And if you want more damage, you have better options like the FAL to go with. The STG or the MKB-42 is kind of just average at everything. The Scar is good. The Stoner is really good at extending Z time, but has some issues. And then the minigun just feels real awkward on Commando for me, especially with its weight and everything. Other than that, there's still the FAMAS, which the FAMAS is also really awkward too. So Commando just has a bunch of underwhelming weapons, really. I wish that they had better weapons that were specific to them, and not taking other classes' weapons, because yeah, it's kind of cool that the FAL, the M16, the medic rifles are really good on Commando, and they're probably some of their best weapons. But when that's like your whole arsenal is just some other class's weapon, that's kind of disappointing, at least in my opinion. I wish it was changed a bit. I also wish that they moved the M14 to be cross-perk too with Sharpshooter and Commando. I feel like it would fit there, but I doubt that's ever going to happen. So hopefully with me explaining this video, it's not really that I dislike Commando. I don't think I hate any of the classes. Sure, there can be certain players that are a bit annoying if they're playing a certain way or something like that, but that goes with every single game. So, and if you're not bothering anybody and you're having fun with your class, then play absolutely whatever you want and hold whatever opinion you want. Hopefully this video doesn't dissuade you from having your own opinion based on your experiences with Commando, because a lot of people really like Commando, and I understand why. It's an easy class to get into. It's familiar from other shooter games. You can be pretty accurate with it. The guns are pretty iconic from it, and you can help support the team a lot. Thanks for taking the time to listen. Tell me what your thoughts are down in the comments below on Commando and on just all the classes in Killing Floor or anything in Killing Floor. I'd love to hear that. Thanks everybody for watching this. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more of these videos, be sure to tell me down in the comments below, as well as be sure to get subscribed if you're not already. That way you get notifications whenever I post these videos. Special thanks to all of the members of the channel. I really do appreciate that. If you guys would like to see more of my Killing Floor content, check over here on this playlist. That'll take you to all the videos that I've made on Killing Floor, or at least some of the videos I've made on Killing Floor. I've made quite a few. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye!